Good morning from Jonesboro, Arkansas, 8:30 a.m., September 15th, 2022. And yesterday I recorded a little video about my MPG so far and how much gas I've burned over the course of 3,400 and some odd miles. There was nothing special. It wasn't a $4,000 mile update, 5,000. I just felt like doing it, so I did. And I'm about to post it. But I figured while I'm at it, I might as well go over this. As of yesterday, September 14th, 173 days of ownership, the odometer and how many miles we've put on it, we're averaging 20 miles a day. That would equal out to 7,359 over the course of a year. But let's look at the gas savings. I was doing this every month for a while, and I did not do it this month. I just didn't feel like it. Just didn't want to do it. It's as simple as that. No excuses here. But anyway, August 31st, last month, we drove 442.6 miles. Part of that's because I had that disease everybody dreads. I got it, and so I drove less. I missed a week of work. If I work 2 days a week, that's 100 miles to work and back. You know, plus I was quarantined. I didn't want to give it to anybody else. But anyway, we drove 442 miles last month. 443 rounded off. Gas consumed, I estimate, 1/8 of a gallon. Even though, look at all this right here. Quarter, eighth equals 3, less than 4 gallons. 3 7/8 of a gallon is what that equals. I mean, never mind. I'm sorry. 0.875, which is 7/8 of a gallon. In the video yesterday, I talked about how I've probably burned 2 gallons of gas. But I don't think I have. It's just if you use the mathematics of the tick system on the Volt, which has 10 little ticks, and they drop off as you burn gas. You have 9 ticks left, 8 ticks left. So full is 10 ticks, half would be 5 ticks, empty is 0 ticks. If you just use that like 10%, then that'd be 20% of the gas, and I'm pretty sure the Volt has a 9-gallon tank. I think. Let me look at something. 8.9 gallons. See right there? This is where I'm going to document my gas if I ever get gas. But anyway, okay. Gas cost per gallon, last time I got it, was $3.12. Here's what I burned in gas last month, 39 cents. My miles per kilowatt hour, that's a guess because the Volt will not tell you. 4 1/4, but I think it's pretty accurate. Kilowatt hours burned, 104.1. Cost per kilowatt hour is 10.8 cents. $11.29 in dango electricity. Total cost of $11.68. Cost per mile, 2.6 cents a mile. Because electricity has gone up about 28% in the last several months. It's ridiculous. Average car, it gets 24 miles to the gallon. It would have taken $57.54 to drive this same amount, saving $45.86. 4x4 truck, 20 mile per gallon average. It would have cost $69.05 to drive 442 miles. We save $57.37. And the Prius, 58 miles to the gallon, would have cost $23.81, and we saved $12.52. There, that's all I'm going to talk about with that. Take these numbers for whatever you want. Feel free to comment like a lot of people do. Well, just wait till you have to spend $10,000 for a battery. Or say, you realize your car runs on coal, don't you? Or, you realize you're not really saving the planet, don't you? Feel free to say any of that if you're one of those EV haters. That's fine with me. I really don't care. All right, now, to the video I recorded yesterday. Good morning from Jonesboro, Arkansas. I want to talk about how many miles I've gotten on this tank so far in my 2018 Chevy Volt Premier. I have gotten 3,483 miles on this tank, and I've burned 2 ticks off, on the gas, which is about 20%. And I believe this tank is a 9-gallon tank, so it's 1.8 gallons. We're going to call it 2 gallons. 2 gallons of gas I've burned. So that's 1,750 rounded off miles to the gallon. Now, of course, that electricity costs some money, and the best I can figure, I think I spent probably $85 in electricity at most. And then you got a couple gallons of gas at $6, so 91 bucks. We'll say $90. $90 to go 3,500 miles. The Chevy Volt, look here, I can go up 48 more miles of electric, and I've knocked off 20% of the battery. This time of year, it usually says 53, 55, 56 miles when it's fully charged. It's supposed to get, I think, 47 average, but that depends on the weather, depends on all kinds of stuff, heat. In the winter, I won't get near as much as we do in summer. But this miles per gallon, how many miles you can take, all depends on what your daily commute is. I only work a couple days a week, and to work them back is 48 miles. So I have no problem making it this time of year. I've got this car middle of March, and there are some cold days, I can't remember for sure, but I'm thinking I can't remember, I don't want to say. We'll just wait and see what happens in winter. I suspect I'll be burning about a quarter of a gallon of gas to get it working back in the winter, but I don't know. We'll just wait and see. Now, even a quarter of a gallon at 48 miles is not bad. But look at this, energy. When I got this car, it said 49.9 lifetime miles per gallon. I've already increased it by 3.3, which is about 6%, I think, doing quick math in my head. Tell me if I'm wrong. And of course, they burn the generator a whole lot more. They didn't plug it up as much, I guess, or had longer drives. I don't ever look at MPGE, but there you go. I've increased it to 49.9 to 53.2 in about in 3,400 miles, 3,500 miles. This right here, I hardly ever look at. I kind of like the technique. I kind of like the terrain. I don't care for the outside temperature. There's nothing you can do about that. And climate settings, it says negative 1.6. And I don't like that because I got the windows down today. But I didn't, it's going off the last time it was fully charged. I don't look at this hardly ever. Now this I look at sometimes. 1% for climate settings since the last time it's been charged, 20% for driving, and 0 for other. The other is battery conditioning. This car, to maintain the battery. Even sitting out here in the parking lot, if I go inside and shut it off, if it gets too hot, it'll send cool air to the battery to cool it down. If the battery gets too cold, it'll send warm air to the battery to warm it up. Because batteries don't like being hot or cold. There's also a buffer on the battery. This says 48 miles to empty. It's actually 48 miles to what they will allow me to use. I believe there's a 5% buffer on both ends because batteries don't like being fully charged or being empty. But anyway, that's what I've gotten on this tank. 3,483 miles, burned at most 2 gallons. I think it's probably a little bit less than that. I should have mentioned this because there is always somebody that says it's not good for the gas to be in the tank that long. But this tank is built different than most gas tanks. It has extra pressurization to it. Plus, I believe some other step or two that helps with condensation. It helps keep the gas from getting watered down or condensation in it. And not only that, but the computer knows how old the gas is. And once it thinks the gas is getting too old, I hear it's about a year, then it'll force the generator to run until all the gas is burned out or until you put more gas in. So I'm not concerned about that. Anybody out there under 30 who know who REO Speedway